Hey everyone, welcome back to the Feminine Waters podcast. I'm Chiquita.
And I'm Tiffany.
And we are back with season 3. And today's Fem Touch segment is called Ain't I a Woman? Let's get into it.
Yes. So welcome back. This is season 3, everybody. Wow, happened really fast. Well, actually, I think we probably would have come back a lot earlier. It was a longer gap, I think, than expected, but we decided to come back with our faces. And well, for those who are watching on YouTube, we're going to come back with our faces. And for those listening, you'll just be hearing our voices per usual. Yeah, so ain't I a woman? Yeah, we wanted to talk about like femininity and body image and hair image and just, well, basically, yeah, the image of what a woman is and what is seen as feminine and what is not, and how that is really harmful. Yeah. So I was actually, somebody actually asked us to like talk about this in a future episode last year, I think. And because they have had issues with their hair not, being seen as feminine, their natural hair, and how that's been something to combat. And I also have had issues where people talk about me all the time as like I'm not a woman, like I'm I have the body of a child, and it's so insulting because I'm a woman. So there is no body type for a woman. There's always that whole like, oh, this is a womanly figure, and it's like, no, if you're a woman and you've gone through puberty, you're a woman, and whatever your figure is, that's a womanly figure. And so that's like, I kind of just want to talk about like all those issues. I kind of just like, spilled a bunch of stuff, but yeah.
And I love that we're talking about it during our first filmed episode. I know we had discussed on the back end, like whether or not we'll be wearing makeup for this episode or not. And honestly, when you told me what it is that you wanted the episode to be about, I was like, all right, I'm going to come in fresh faced, like just because of this. Because usually, first of all, everybody, it was a little bit of a task to get me on camera. Tiffany was like, let's do it. And I'm like, I'm not ready. I really like being behind the mic when it comes to the podcast. I'm not camera shy or anything like that. I mean, I've done a lot of stuff like on camera. I'm usually like full face of makeup and like fully prepared. But I feel like throughout this whole little filmed podcast situation, you guys might be catching me looking more natural because I really am in a place right now where I'm trying to embrace my like naturalness, like no makeup, just like loving on my body, loving on my hair, loving on everything. So yes. Yeah, I'm glad that this is our first filmed episode when we're talking about this. I think it's really cool.
Yeah. And you don't need any of the makeup. So.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Yeah, man, this hyperpigmentation life has not been the easiest life to live. Like I've struggled with acne since I was 10 years old. Like I can remember being that young and struggling with acne. And then as I got older, like, teenage years, college years, like my face would break out really bad. And I still get breakouts now, but they're just not as bad as they used to be. But then it's like when I break out here and there, like that dark spot is going to be there. So yeah. I always feel more confident when I'm wearing makeup and when my brows are filled, because as you guys can see, they're kind of sparse. When my brows are filled, when I got on like, foundation, concealer, everything, bronzer, everything, mascara, lip. I love a bold lip. That's my signature. That's when I feel like my best self. But I told myself, hey, I'm gonna start embracing this natural look and see where we go.
Yes. Yeah, I've definitely struggled with breakouts too, but like that didn't even start until I was in my 20s. So that was rough. And yeah, it's like every time, then it's just something just left behind. I have like a bump like permanently on my nose from a breakout from however long ago. So that's fun.
Life, girl, I know that life.
I'm trying to figure out where to look. I'll be looking all over the place.
I know
But,
I'm trying. I'm like, do I look at the camera? Do I look at
all
you?
right.
Do I look at myself? When you're talking, I just look at you. We're just gonna
Yeah.
have to make it work.
So I wonder if you have ever like struggled with not feeling feminine based on like whatever standard of beauty.
I haven't up until recently, and even still, when this thing happened recently, I didn't feel less feminine. But there is a friend of mine who we started our femininity journey like around the same time. And she's somebody who was like historically like really tomboyish. She had locks for years and years as well. Never really paid attention to her image at all, you know. And I remember in 2018, she really did like a full on transformation because she's actually a friend of a friend, but we got close, you know, through the other friend. And I had seen her post on social media one day, and it's like the locks were gone. She combed out her locks, wig, like lashes, full face, like full beat, you know, everything, like winged liner, just like different. You know, she started wearing dresses all the time, blah, blah, blah. So, anyways, the fact that we started our femininity journey at the same time, that's what that was, you know, her definition of becoming more feminine physically, and then also doing the energetic work as well. So we're talking about dating, you know, and stuff like that. And she had asked me if I ever considered cutting my locks, or, you know, and I said, I mean, I have, you know, I know I'll cut my locks one day. But, you know, kind of like, why? And then she was saying, well, you know, I heard that, you know, men usually aren't really attracted, or a certain type of man isn't usually attracted to locks. You know, basically that's why, you know, I got rid of mine and, you know, started wearing what I wear now. And she was like, it's just something to consider. And she was very sweet about it. You know, I wasn't offended or anything. We're just kind of like dialoguing back and forth. And I said, you know, like, well, thanks. I appreciate, you know, your suggestion. I said, but I feel like even when I do cut my locks off, I plan to do like a full on like big chop. So I'll have a shortcut like a boy, you know? So what's more feminine, like long flowing locks or a shortcut? It doesn't really matter what the answer is, because either way I feel feminine in both of those, with both of those hairstyles. I've had a big chop before in 2009. I cut my hair off. I still felt beautiful, sexy, womanly, everything. And I still feel that way now. So, I mean, that's my story. That's the only thing that I can really bring up right now.
I've never heard of that, of men not liking locks or thinking it's not feminine. I never heard that.
Yeah, it's a thing. I remember even my college boyfriend, because in college I had permed hair. My hair was permed. I mean, I started getting perms when I was 4, unfortunately. But I had asked him, I said, you know, how would you feel if I, you know, went natural, like I cut off all my perm hair and I started growing out my hair and like I did like an afro or something. And, you know, he was like, I think you would look dirty. And I was like, what? That's what he said. Black American, by the way. So I think that it's important to point that out.
It is, yeah.
Right? So, and I was just like, that's interesting. I would have never thought that would have been his response. But what's so interesting, because he's like, you know, super, super light skin, like he was really clean cut, goatee, like everything. But now he has locks, which is really interesting to me. I saw a picture of him recently. He has like the free range, you know, like locks. And I was like, how we change. Interesting.
Yeah, I'd never had an issue with feeling necessarily feminine with anything with my hair, just feeling pretty. Or is that the same thing?
No, feminine and pretty are the same.
It'd be more so because I had like Not even because I had shorter hair for, well, yeah, I guess maybe because when my hair was just like here for like a long time, like when my hair had broken off because of relaxers and stuff, like I just didn't feel as like pretty, I guess. But I felt really good when I went natural, but I know that was like a struggle for my friend, which is really interesting because had been natural. She's been a natural her entire life. She's never gotten a relaxer. And she was always like super comfortable with like doing her hair and like, her twists and whatever. And it was like around, I guess, just entering like the workspace. Then she was just like, I don't feel like I don't feel confident. I don't feel like, like a woman like this. I feel like if my hair is natural, people think I'm a little kid, which I was like, that's interesting. Yeah.
That's very interesting. Because I've been natural since '09, and I can't think about a time where I felt like, okay, maybe. I will say, like, sometimes when I would do twist outs, because once again, like when I first went natural, I thought like my hair was gonna be like out to here, like grow out to like this beautiful, like,
oh yeah, we all did. Yeah.
That's not my life. I am 4C down, 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 like super tight coil. Like even if I pull my hair out to here, like it'll just like come right back here, maybe here if I'm being generous. So sometimes when I would do like twist outs and braid outs and stuff like that, I wouldn't feel as womanly. And I think it's because my curl pattern is so tight. Like if I was doing twist out and braid out and my hair was here in this range, I think maybe I would feel more feminine, but feel more mature or older. So I kind of get that notion.
Yeah. I thought that was like really fascinating. Like, I guess that's the acceptable time to see natural hair is when you're a child. And then I don't know at what point it changes where it's like you're too grown to have your hair like this. But it's like, when did that become a thing?
I've never heard that before. It's my first time hearing it.
Yeah.
Does she straighten it? Like, does she ever get like blowouts or?
Yeah, once in a while. Yeah, so she'll feel a little bit better like that, but which is I just find it like so bizarre because she used to be so comfortable and always question like why I had relaxed hair. um so yeah, that's one thing that really women struggle with, or I guess more specifically Black women struggle with. Or maybe all women, like, I don't know, like white women all the time will straighten their hair if they have curly hair. And it's like, I don't know where that comes from, that's the standard of femininity anyway.
So. I don't know. I know one of my sorority sisters, she is like the epitome. She's actually a femininity influencer. Like she has a huge following on Instagram, Twitter, everything. She has a humongous following on Clubhouse. She's not really on there as much anymore because according to her, Clubhouse got weird. But she's like a low cut Caesar, like super short. Like you can almost see her scalp, how short her hair is. And you can never tell her that she's not feminine. And I don't think anybody could ever say she's not feminine. So I really don't think that it's about the hair or the image. I more so think it's like an aura, like an inner energy that just kind of like pours out of you.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, I don't think there's really supposed to be any specific whatever image of femininity. I think it's an energy and it's like a confidence. Like, I thought that was interesting that, you said your friend said like men don't find locks attractive or whatever, some men. But I feel like I've gotten a lot more attention with my locks, or even just when I went natural in general. And I think maybe just because I felt more confident.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think it's important to just be comfortable in who you are and just what makes you feel beautiful, what makes you feel satisfied. I know for me, like a big thing is my friends will always suggest that I like gel my edges and like, you know, do like the baby hair thing. But I'm like, I can't do that. Like
Yeah.
the way my hair is set up, it will never stay like that. It might stay like that for maybe 5 minutes max, like maximum. And then it's going to like draw back up into like the little coil. So it's like I wear my edges completely natural. Everybody knows that about me. Like that's something that, you know, I just can't follow that trend. My hair will not allow it. Not to say I wouldn't try it, but I do notice that when I get my hair like freshly done, like a fresh wash, twist, everything, and like the stylist does like a little situation, it'll stay like that for a little bit. But after about a week, it's back to the situation. And I have completely accepted it. And this is my norm. And nobody can make me feel bad about it. I'm sorry. Like, it's who I am. And
Yeah.
that's it.
Yeah, I've definitely never done like the edge thing. Yeah, my hair doesn't do that. And, like once in a while I'll just like, you know, brush it a little bit or maybe like, but it's not where I'm doing those things. I don't even understand that. I mean, I was literally looking at a celebrity the other day. I was on TV with the whole thing, and I was just like, that just looks crazy. This was like glue. So,
and I used to do it when I was relaxed. When I was relaxed and when I was in like middle school, high school, when the baby hair trend, because it comes and goes. That baby hair comes and goes, boy. So I remember like middle school, high school, relaxed hair, sure. Like I had my whole ritual routine in the morning, you know, where I have my little toothbrush, I have my jam, put my toothbrush in the jam. First, you have to brush it down. That's the technique. You brush it down first, and then you take the toothbrush and you like that, and it's like. But once again, I was relaxed.
Right.
Natural can't happen.
Yeah, it's interesting how that is still a thing when people are natural. I've seen so many people with locks and they still do the whole thing. Like that's when it's acceptable or whatever. And I find it quite interesting. So like that's the hair portion. I kind of wanted to get into, well, okay, we could segue into body with the combination of body hair, because that's also a thing where people don't think it's feminine for women to have body hair, but it's like the thing for men to have body hair, which I find gross, honestly. But like, I don't want body hair on a man. Yeah. That's a whole other thing. But I mean, a little tiny whatever is fine, but like I've seen people and it's just like, that's please button your shirt. Like I don't think that's attractive. But
please button your shirt.
Yeah. That just reminds me of like when I was in high school. I don't know, somebody came in the building and I was like saying it to myself and my teacher heard me and I was just like, oh my gosh, she's like a gorilla. It's like Tiffany. But that, yeah, I will never understand why it's like this amazing thing for men to have hair all over their arms, their back, their underarms. Please don't put your arm around me. And there's a whole thing under here. Like that's so gross. But anyway,
so
we're talking
like clean shave.
Yeah.
Underarm clean shave for a man. Interesting.
Yeah.
Very okay.
But, yeah. Anyway, that's going into something else. But when body hair on women, there's so many things. It's what do you have to say about it?
All right. So for me, when it comes to body hair on women, so I remember being as young as I had to be like 12 years old. And so I wasn't even like really in puberty like that, like very new to puberty. And I was visiting family in New Jersey. And one of my older cousins, like she's significantly older, like she was probably in her 20s at the time. And like I had done something, I don't know, I lifted up my arm or whatever. And she was like, Chiquita. And I was like, what? And she was like, you have hair under your arm. And I was like, I know. Like, but even like I'm 12, right? So it's not like it's like a forest,
Right.
you know? And then she's like, no, like you have to make sure that you shave your underarms like at least every 3 days. So with her telling me that, it just kind of like stuck with me. I'm like, all right, well, she's a woman, like I'm just getting into womanhood. So I guess, you know, that's what I'm going to be doing. So since then, I had always been like super conscious about making sure that my underarms are, you know, shaved, you know, and they were always shaved. But then over the years, and I started to get razor bumps. So with that being the case, I graduated to waxing. So now I'm even at the point where I wax my own underarms and everything just to cut costs sometimes. But when it comes to other parts of the body, so my legs, the hair on my legs is very, very, very fine. So I can get away without shaving my legs depending on the situation. If it's summertime, maybe not, but like winter and like, you know, people, I could probably get away with it. But even still, if I know that I'm going to be around like guys, especially like if I'm around women, I don't care if my legs are really shaved like that, to be honest, especially my friends, I don't care. But if I know I'm going to be around men, they got to be shaved. Something else that I think is really interesting when it comes to the whole body hair thing is I know majority of my friends who were here in the States, because I always say on the show, like I have my Liberia friends or my Africa friends, and I have my America friends. So my America friends, all of them, they get like full on Brazilians. Like it's a part of their whole like culture. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so, and I've gotten Brazilians a few times. Sure, why not? Especially if I'm like going on vacation or this or that, blah, blah, I'll get them. Or, you know, when I was doing the do with certain guys, I would get them. So, but what's really interesting about that is that people don't realize that waxing your vagina it really comes from porn culture. You know what I mean? Like if we weren't watching porn with these women who have smack it bald vaginas, we would, I'm pretty sure all of us would still be, you know, having our natural hair down there. And for me, because this is the Feminine Waters podcast, we're really transparent. So hey, this is about to be on YouTube, but hey, I'm transparent on this thing. So it just is what it is. So I know for me, it's like, I'm never gonna have like a full on forest down there. It's gonna be well kept and maintained, but I'm not really trying to go through the whole like Brazilian thing. Like, first of all, it hurts. Number one. And then like when I really think about it, it's like I said, it comes from porn culture. So like what energy is behind that, you know, when doing it. And, you know, I've never had any complaints. So therefore I'm going to keep on doing what I do. But I know like my American friends are like, I could never, like, are you serious? You have hair down there, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, yeah, that's the way God meant for it to be. As long as it's manicured.
Yes, a nice manicured lawn. Exactly.
Yes, exactly. And like I said before, I've never had any complaints, so I'm gonna continue to live my life accordingly.
Yeah, and I remember, I think it was Dr. Oz even said like, it's just like a weird, I think he had said it was, from porn as well, like unnatural concept. And that's actually like really necessary and also makes like having hair down, it makes it more pleasurable. So
I can imagine because of the friction. That's why, that's why like recently, I don't know, you probably didn't, but there was this viral video going around with Nelly receiving oral sex from a woman.
I heard of it.
Yeah. And my friend sent it to me. So I watched like 30 seconds of it because I couldn't watch the whole thing. But I was so confused because like he had no hair. And I was just like, why does this grown man who's, I think Nelly's about to be in his 50s, why does he have no hair down there? Like, it was really, really, really confusing to me, because me, like, opposite of you, I like for a man to have body hair. Like, to me, that makes him manly, right? I'm not saying I like a hairy back or a super hairy chest or anything like that, but I definitely would like some hair manicured as well, or what did we say?
Yeah, manicured long.
Yeah, manicured, right?
Yeah.
Hair, and I like a little bit of hair under the arms. I feel like if there's no hair under the arms, it's giving prepubescent boy. And I also feel like if there's no hair down low, it's also giving prepubescent boy, and that's uncomfortable for me. So that's my take on body hair. I'm done. Go ahead, Tiffany.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever, well, yeah, question, like, do you feel more or less feminine or the same with body hair?
So if my underarms have some hair going, I don't feel as feminine. I actually feel quite insecure. And, there'll be times in the winter, especially in singleness and in the winter time, where I'm not really paying attention to my underarms like that. And sometimes I'll look at them, I'll be like, whoa, like I'll scare myself. Like, oh my gosh, girl, like you need to get it together right now. So when it comes to underarms, it's like, yes, I feel like that makes me feel more feminine. Shaved legs definitely make me feel more feminine. It's just soft and nice. And a nicely manicured hoo-ha makes me feel feminine as well. So, but then it's different in different cultures, because I know, like, in Africa, or at least in West Africa, when a woman has hairy legs, men find that attractive. They love it, actually.
Interesting.
Yeah. And it's also said, I'll say this last thing. I've also heard that apparently when a woman has very hairy legs, that means that she's more pleasing sexually.
Okay.
Yeah. How true that is, but that's what I've heard from a guy.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I don't know if I feel more or less feminine with body hair. Like, yes, there's obviously times where I just let stuff go and I'm just like, okay, whatever. With like my underarms or something. But I do like being smooth. Yeah, I like being smooth. So and just things go on easier when you are. So your deodorant goes on easier, all that stuff. I can't stand when, like, I don't have my legs shaved, I'm like putting stockings on, So yeah, I actually just recently got what's it called, an epilator. And that's been like, I'm like, where has this been for 20 years of my life?
Wait,
I love it. It's a machine. Where is mine? It's in the closet, but it's essentially like 60 tweezers in one thing. So you just go over and it like pulls out all the hair. So, I mean, you eventually get used to, I mean, it kind of pinches, but it's like if you have tweezed before, it's whatever. Like I used to, I have friends that I don't know if it's necessarily an Asian thing or a Cambodian thing, but they always were like tweezing their underarms, and we would go over their house and they would tweeze our underarms and stuff when we were in high school.
Wax or shave?
Because it's like, it's tweezing is definitely like safer. Like wax can really pull up those pieces of your skin and all that stuff. I've never waxed. But yeah, I got used to like tweezing my underarms, and then it's like, this just takes so long. So when I found out about an epilator some years ago, it took me a really long time to buy one, because I was just like, is this going to work? And now I wish I had bought it so long ago, because it's incredible. So yeah, I use that on my legs, my underarms, bikini area, and it's like the best thing. So yeah, I don't think I feel like less feminine with hair. I just feel like more comfortable because of whatever I'm putting on. Mm-hmm. So, but I've I think I did used to feel a little less when I had like leg hair or like if I forgot to shave. But there's been a couple of times where I've been with whatever, hugged up with a guy or whatever, and they start rubbing my leg, and I'm like, no, I didn't shave, and they're just like, I don't care. Like it's like they really don't care a lot of the time.
They don't.
Yeah.
They don't. Like, and I guess it's like, and you know, what they're exposed to, because I'm thinking, right, like if I were to tell one of my friends, like, okay, well, try growing out, you know, your hair, your pubic hair, and see like how your guy would react. But if he's already used to it being one type of way, it might be difficult for him to go back or, you know, see something different, you know. So it depends on how you introduce it to someone, I think.
Yeah. I find the pubic hair so interesting. Like I could never just be bald.
Yeah.
Like that hasn't been since I was pre-puberty. So
Right. Yeah. No, it's definitely, you know, and it does have its perks. I'll tell you, because the smoothness, it is very smooth and it feels nice, you know, but it's like, okay, well, it feels nice. But like I said, guys usually don't know the difference. Like, you know, I know because I'm washing myself or like, you know, whatever, so I can feel the difference, but does it really matter to him?
so like moving into the body, because well, we have very different body types, and there's such this whole thing as a woman where it's like you can't win because um you have the body type where I guess most society would call like more womanly. And then I've always been called whatever, like a little girl or something. And and then there's I know for people who like develop faster, I don't know how you develop, but people develop faster, then it's like that's a bad thing too. And it's like you can't really win being a girl. It's like, why don't you have breasts yet? Or why do you have breasts already? And like, yeah. So have you ever like felt like insecure about your body or if you develop faster or whatever?
For the longest time, and still honestly up until this day, I've struggled with insecurities with my butt, my booty. Because I remember like being in high school and my friends would always tell me that like, oh, you have a flat butt, like your butt's flat, your butt's flat. And I'm like, and I, of course, like I had never noticed my butt being flat. Like I'm like in 10th grade, you know, 10th or 11th grade or whatever. And I did notice that, you know, other girls had bigger butts, but you know, it's just like, oh, that's nice for them. But it never really made me feel like I needed one or I didn't have one or whatever. I just kind of lived my life. But the fact that I kept on hearing it so much, it really started to like take a toll on me. I'm like, wow, so like I have no butt. Wow, that's hard. That's hard to deal with as a Black woman, like especially like, so I don't have a butt, you know. So I've just always kind of even said that, and I'll find myself even saying it before somebody else can kind of like point it out or something. You know what I mean? And then so like recently, maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, when I was living in Liberia, my Liberian friends would be like, girl, like, you know, like something about like your butt, like you have a butt, you have a butt. And I'm like, no, I don't. And they're like, yeah, you do. And I'm like, no, there's no way I have a butt. Like, because I had been conditioned since I was so young to think that I don't have one. So even when people were telling me in my face, like, you have a nice butt, or, you know, I see your butt getting a little, you know, I would always shut it down and be like, no, like that's not possible. But I had to train myself to be like, okay, well, if people are saying it, then it must be true. Like, why would they lie to me? You know, so I started getting more confident around like, you know, my booty and stuff like that, even though it doesn't, of course, it doesn't look like how I would want it to look, you know, how I wish that God blessed me with it looking, but I'm way more secure in it now than I ever was in my life, because the narrative changed around it. So
Yeah, I've definitely had people tell me my whole life that I don't have a butt. Oh, you're a Black girl, you don't have a butt. Like I have a butt. It's cute and tiny and I like it. So thank you.
hey.
I had no complaints on my butt. And it's like always women. That's the thing.
Yes. There's never been a guy in my entire life that has told me that I don't have a butt or my butt is flat. It's always been women.
Yeah.
Always.
Same. Same. So yeah, I've never had a problem with guys liking my booty or grabbing my booty. And that's all the races that I've dated. So but yeah, like I've definitely just it's so crazy. Like I don't know if you've seen like the K Michelle show that's on my Killer Body. And
I've heard of it.
Yeah, so it's like all about these people who have gone and done all these, plastic surgeries that have really affected their health and their happiness and all that stuff. And I was like, see, because like I've had so much, I don't say pressure, but like from all the feedback I've gotten throughout my life, where I thought like maybe I should get plastic surgery, maybe I should. From the time I was little, like maybe I should take some fat from my stomach and have it put into my breasts, because I saw that on the surgery channel when I was young. And it's because everyone says like my body isn't like womanly. And thank God, like I had just a bit more acceptance of myself than the opposite. So, because I'm just like, that's not anything I would really ever want to do. But it took me a while to like just fully be like, okay, this is my body, and like this is how I was made, and I'm still a woman. I have very small breasts, I have a very small frame, but that's how I'm built, and I don't ever have complaints about it. Aside from, I think I talked about in an episode, probably season 1, my first love was like, you should gain some weight or whatever, and I was like, no, that's not what's gonna happen. But I'm like, my body is fine the way it is. And even still, people will tell me like, oh, you're like, you're built like a little girl or whatever. And it's just like, F you. Like, I'm a 35-year-old woman. Yeah. So therefore I'm built like a 35-year-old woman.
Yes, girl.
So yeah, it's really things people say are really damaging, and it's like, and I've grown up with like a family like this, like my family will say stuff like this. My family is like super hypercritical. Like even like my grandmother will always comment on like our bodies all the time. I'm like, oh, are you finally gaining weight? Are you finally getting some calves? Are you finally getting some meat on your bones? Or or saying to one of my cousins, oh, your stomach is just too big. Like, what are you doing? Or like, it's just like, it's like a constant thing, like where people are just always commenting on bodies in my family. And that's like, I'm always having to check people, whether it's about me or somebody else. It's just like, this is not acceptable. Like this is how you cause a lot of like harm to people. But yeah, I think it's just important to get across that there is no image of what a woman is or what a feminine woman is. You just are. There are so many different shapes and sizes of everybody. And if you're a woman, you're a woman, and that's it.
Right, for sure.
Yeah, so listeners and watchers now, let us know if you have dealt with any of these, things that we've talked about, with feeling feminine or not feminine, looking, appearing a certain way or with a certain style or whatever. I would encourage you to, again, take into consideration that there is no ideal of what a feminine woman is, and don't ever let anyone tell you differently. Tell them to F off, basically. And yeah, like learn to accept your body and yourself the way you are. I think I really started to fully accept myself maybe a few years ago, where I was just like, I looked at myself and I was just like, someday I'm going to be dying to have this body back, like after kids or something. I'm going to be like, why didn't I appreciate the way I looked? So I would just encourage you to appreciate and accept who you are, where you are. And I guess we'll see you on the next episode.
Yes, see you guys next time. Bye.